when you are present in the now, it's because you have the capacity to be self-aware and emotionally aware. That makes you intimate with yourself, first of all. And being here now means you have a window of welcome for what comes up. And if you have a window of tolerance, you know of the good therapists, or you know of how to work with your maladaptive child behavior by choosing to be generous. No, because you're a decent person. Okay, so the reality is, if you have healthy self-worth, it's because you are a person who is not superior inferior. So your inner emotional plane is free from shame or blame or fault or revenge or envy or jealousy. Those are all emotions that continue to exist within an individual who is not doing the bilateral integration and open to the infinite possibilities of them being human. So they will be on that Elsa journey, thinking that they're on some special mission or wanting or whatever. They're 0-1-year-old. You don't have a human being grown up who's home, who's understanding either let me reparent myself with a good therapist or let me talk to my herd like Ice Age. We got Manny, Diego, and Sid. Okay, so we're going to use stories. So the people who are not doing any of this, they're the walking around Pinocchios with the ears and the tails, or even as he's getting brought again to the island. So I see them. They use attachment and trauma information or their mysticism in an effort to stay within their own ego self with a spiritual bypasser. It's really the codependent martyr superior or blamer victim that I have heard described again and again and again by childhood trauma survivor, healed and healing therapist Patrick Tiahan. So when I'm outside into the world, I look at people with a present brain, because as long as you have no weapon, I don't need to be in my survival mode. Okay, so an emotionally aware person is where I know that I have implicit bias. No, I won't have it too much implicit, because the thing is, I learned how not to use my 3-year-old tone. Thanks, Mom. So my inner child, personally, as an empowered woman, has never been broken. I don't have shame telling the truth, no. Which is why we don't get discarded. If you watch when an avoidant discards, it's not a discard, and we actually don't use words. So like the whole ghosting, canceling, I did not use words. As I got older, I started to hear people with words, and I'm like, wow, those are interesting words. And then as I got attachment trauma informed from good experts, I was like, oh, okay, I see. And it's like, well, I mean, I really feel bad for people who are emotionally unavailable, because that's where you don't know your intimacy yet. Okay, so you cannot have intimacy with another human being until you actually have your 0-1-year-old attached, panicky, 3 to 7, shame, submissive, freeze of all ages, flight 11, 12, and fight 14, 15, 16, until you have your child parts. So that's when you're, oh wait, am I hurting? Are they hurting? Not the, you know what, all people are assholes, or good riddance, avoidant. That's a teenager attitude. I mean, I know you're upset, but really? Okay, so intimacy comes because you have humanity descend, overwhelm, all that stuff. Yes, thank you, Sadhguru. So when humanity overwhelms you, you're getting divinity descending. It's called integration of the brain. And thank you, Daniel Siegel. So for some people, it's easy. I got lucky. I have secure attachment, differentiation of the self, and I have a child-centric environment. This is my mother gave it to me. And I have a twin. And I have a younger sister. But the twin I mentioned because, you know, we learn how to regulate this nervous system and our heart and to have compersion. And I did get lucky, because when I got told you're both different, it was always with equanimity. So I was held with different doesn't mean good or bad. Different means different. And it doesn't mean that I'm going to treat you the same. No, I'm actually going to treat you differently because you're different. And when somebody explains two things, you're like, oh, that makes a lot of sense. Which is why I thank you, Mother. And then your own drivers. So my body, I thank my body and my Maria brain. So, you know, again, decent human is all I'm going to say. When you're intimate, it means I can be the quirky 3-year-old me. You don't have to like me. I'm still going to be me. You want to be friends? Can we build a snowman? That's as easy as it gets. But then you meet a lot of Cuscos. And, well, in time, you learn about people and their shame cycle, which is why I was saying we got Cuscos and the squirrels from Cusco land, and we got the Pinocchios with ears, and you know, Peter Pans and Wendy's and Ursulas all over the place. So Those are not the people that we're going to be talking about in our last 6 minutes. No, when we know intimacy here, it's because you're empowered, you have healthy self-worth, means we're flawed and imperfect, but we're decent. So we're not going to be yelling or screaming in each other's faces or using any hands, none of that. And if we need anyone to come physically protect us, we call the numbers that we can and we run away. Okay, so this is empowerment, not teenager attitude, which is actually modulated embodied self individuals who are in their sympathetic and they are actively in a whole other equation. Okay, so once you meet those who have healthy self-worth, you'll know, because like you, they will know, look, I didn't have to do all this journey. I just went through, thing called life and I got here. Okay, so they don't have the 10 million scars on their chest and they judge men and women and days and the whole dating scene that you see people still with gender stereotypes, which really makes me think, wow, seriously, teenagers again and again and again. So, but they don't get all the in-depth attachment trauma information and then apply and say, do I have my inner child? Oh, yes, I do. You know why I do? Because you can be whatever you want and I'm not going to be disrespectful because I have a higher social engagement system on. So my body is a restorative embodiment. It means I know my gut is truly going to tell me if I'm in physical. And whenever I've gotten any little, it's like a woof, it's a scent. I was like, okay, I'm out, bye. And if I am with people that I love, meaning that I want to know that they're going to be okay, I don't leave. And yes, sometimes we do know the world is not a safe place because of men and women and theys, people who need good therapists. Because anybody who's unkind needs a good therapist. Their maladaptive child behavior could be dissociative identity disorder, and their alters needs a good therapist, like a Daniel Siegel. Okay, so yes, the whole evil scale. Remember, Michael Stone, forensic criminologist, 1 to 22, they all need good therapists. That's what a human being who's decent, empowered, and knowledgeable with good information from attachment trauma and doesn't deny it just because I grew up with, Jesus and God. No, I actually walk the path of forgive them for they do not know. Blessed are those who believe without seeing. I know you got a heart in there because I'm looking at your eyes. So I'm not going to insult you. Be humble. Remember, you're not me. Yeah, the whole divinity descends on you. Thank you, Sadhguru. It's not a entity. It's not you calling yourself a human god like Nietzsche did with his book. No, it's you understanding consciousness. The hard problem of consciousness is what the scientists study. It's not a problem for mystic. Woo-woo. But it's actually really beautiful. So when you have downloads of your past lives, this is amazing. Okay, so when you meet emotionally aware people, this is amazing. You know that they have healthy self-worth. And that's because whether they are polyamory or monoamory, they're going to speak the truth to your face, not behind your back. And then they're going to keep on doing that. Okay, so when intimacy is here, that's when you build intimacy with another person. And that equals healthy self-worth. So let's talk about that as we end. So it's a relationship with yourself. When you're ready to be a decent person yourself, that's when you're going to be ready to say, you need to be decent with me too. And if you're not, I'm going to let you know in the best way possible. Hey, what's going on? You okay? Are you upset? What's the deal? As a teenager, I learned that doesn't really work. So when I got to get older and see a lot of other Cuscos, I'm like, okay, well, whatever. It is what it is. And then when you get the people who do know how to do it, it's like, oh, thank goodness. Now we're talking. Now we're building intimacy. Okay, so you build intimacy here. Once you have that completely, you're gooey, ooey, ooey with compersion and joy for all people around you. And you know when you have pachas. And so you are securely attached, which is why then you build secure attachment relationships. And you look in another person's eyes and you consistently speak. So the focus and the intention and the intensity builds because of genuine, I'm seeing your inner child and you're seeing my inner child. And because neither of us is hiding our flaws and imperfections and our inner child, meaning we're not doing the let me get and pretend that I'm not moody or something. No, it's, you know what, I am moody today and I won't be speaking to you today, for example. Okay, so that's how you begin to build true intimacy. It's very easy. And oh yes, we also know how to identify what is consistent, contingent, loving, and nobody love bombs. The only people who use those words again are the people who don't know that, oh, by the way, the sex drive, yeah, that comes actually when you're building true intimacy, or it can come but you will have already built a relationship, at least for those of us who are healthy self-worth, because, it matters. No, it's not even about that. It's that we're going to not be engaged in you if we don't know you. You don't know my heart. I don't know your heart. I don't know anything about you. How am I going to have any interest in you whatsoever? That's for the conscious lovers, of course. So we're choosing healthy self-worth first, because we're intimate here and we know it therefore there. And so loving each other with a pacha and a whole inner child is easy and it's beautiful. It's called intimacy. Tune in for more.